end of our caregiver retreat. And we definitely encourage you to make sure that you complete that survey so that we can get your feedback and your input, because we always are interested to learn ways that we can make this retreat better. But also you will be entered for a, why did my mind just go blank? Door prize. Like, we're going to do a door prize raffle at the end. So you'll want to get your name entered for that. The other thing is, we know that some of you are in need of CEUs, and these are continuing education credits. And so we will be offering those. Couple things that we need you to do. We need you to, well, first, in order for you to receive the CEUs, you will need to be present on both days of the retreat. So that means December 1st and December 2nd for the duration of the retreat. The CEUs will come to you via email. So we need to make sure that we have an accurate email address for you. So if you could, feel free to put that in the chat. And as soon as I can find this chat, I'm going to give you a fax number. You can also feel free to fax us a request to let us know that you are in need of CEUs, and we will work on getting you your CEU credit. So it's taken me a little minute to find that number. So I'm going to turn it over to our speakers so that they have all the time that they need. And I will put the fax number in the chat. So be looking there for the chat if you need the CEUs. Okay. Okay, Becky, I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, my job's really easy today. All I need to do is introduce Kyearra Morris, who is with Stonegate, which is a treatment center, but she's also a wonderful resource for information, and anybody needs to know anything about recovery, and she's got an answer. If she doesn't make it up like me. She can really find out the stuff for you. So I'm going to let Kyearra tell you more about herself, and this is a wonderful presentation. I've done it before with her, and so take it away, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, welcome everyone. I want this to be as interactive as possible, because if you're like me, you're probably tired of Zoom meetings. But I want to introduce myself really briefly. My name is Kyearra Morris. I'm, like Becky said, with Stonegate Center. It is a residential treatment facility right outside of Fort Worth, Texas, in a little town called Azle. If you want to know more information about Stonegate, I would love to pass that along. Just let me know. Put it in the comments or the chat, and I'll get back with you about all the information about Stonegate. But additionally, Parents Helping Parents is another part of what I do. I represent or founded a group called AMP Resources. It is here in the state of Oklahoma. We are a group of professional resources that get together, and we bridge the gap between the people that need the services and the resources readily available to give them those services. And so if you have a need, please don't hesitate to reach out. Mental health, substance abuse, anything in that relation, no matter the age or financial situation. So without further ado, I want to encourage you all to, if you feel comfortable, this is a safe space. I want you to turn your cameras on. This is an interactive activity. If you don't, that is perfectly okay. You can still do the exercise without having your camera on. I just always like to see your beautiful faces, and it gives me feedback as a presenter. And so whatever you're comfortable with, do it. First and foremost, after that, I would encourage you all to grab a piece of paper and a pen or pencil or something to write with if you have it. Like I said, this is an interactive activity. I do want you to get the most out of what we're going to talk about today. And so part of that is having the ability to work it out, have a heart on a piece of paper. That's how we're going to move forward. So if you have your piece of paper and you have something to write with, I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do. We're going to draw a big heart on that piece of paper first and foremost. We're going to talk about a little bit about when you're born with this beautiful blank canvas. You haven't been hurt. You haven't, the only thing you cry for is milk in your mommy. and, you know, a dirty diaper. So this is something that you haven't been hurt, you haven't been manipulated, you haven't been in a fight, been angry, anything like that. You have a blank canvas, a beautiful, fresh, pumping fresh blood heart. And I want you to think about that heart. And it's a beautiful white piece of paper. I want you to envision this piece of paper being your heart. Beautiful, fresh, clean heart. Now I want you to take it and draw a huge heart, as big as your heart is. If you have a small heart, I'm sorry. But draw a heart. This isn't the best heart, but you get, it's a little crooked. No one's heart is perfect. So once you draw that heart, I want you to think really deeply about the things that bring you joy. 'Tis the holidays. Holidays bring me joy. I want you to write down things in that heart that fill your heart with joy. So mine would be coffee, big front and center. And then of course, I'm just going to kind of walk you through this because I have a few people on camera, but not a lot. But I want you to think about what, you know, exercise, family, spending time with your loved ones. If your career brings you joy, shopping. Who doesn't love shopping? You know, money, sitting by a fire, write as many things in that heart that make your heart, make you get up every single day and think, I am loved, I am blessed, I am meant to be here, and I have a purpose. Write those things in that heart. Take your time, don't rush. Try to fill that heart up as much as you possibly can. And I'm gonna do this activity while y'all are as well. So I've done this interactive activity with loved ones of addicts, with the addicts themselves, with professionals who work with addicts or people with mental health, and or caretakers, I should say, in general. And we get different things from each side of those, but the ones I love to do the most are the ones that care for those who are in active addiction, past addiction, in recovery, the ones that, you know, are still suffering with mental health, anyone that's a caretaker for a loved one that struggles, and you put yourself aside for the needs and the wants of somebody else. And so I've had the experience of living out this presentation every single day, and I try to actively think about my heart, what I was born with and how it is now, and work on that every single day. So I'm giving you all a little bit of time. Becky, would you like to share some of the things that's in your heart?
Well, of course I would. I'll share all of them because I didn't get very far.
Yay.
But I love music, and I love drawing, and I love travel, and I love having close friends. And that's as far as I got.
Very nice. Would anyone else like to share? Go ahead, Rhiannon.
I have my son, school, learning, and working.
That's it? Oh my goodness, I feel like I just love life. I got coffee being the front and center. Well, I'm going to share really briefly with you all some of the things that are in my heart. So I, like Becky, truly enjoy music. Hence, my son's name is Hendrix, named after Jimi Hendrix. I love dancing. I love any sports, exercise, particularly softball and baseball. Of course, my sons are in my heart. My family, holidays, even as crazy as they are sometimes, shopping, food, helping others, sharing my knowledge, helping families in recovery, my career, and coffee, specifically. Coffee, really big and underlined. That's what kind of makes my heart go pitter patter in the morning. It gets me up and going. And of course, religion, God, and my relationship with my faith. And so those are all things that are in my heart that make me who I am. And so what I want to do, since y'all all have your hearts, I want you to take a little bit of time and I want you to think about the things that you put in your heart that you no longer have time for because you're caring for someone else, or it has been affected in some way by loving someone else or putting someone else first. The things that you would normally be able to do, you're not able to do. The things that you want to have time to do, you're focused on someone else. Think about those things and mark those things out of your heart. Completely mark them off, draw a line through it, scribble through it. I'll tell you that when I do this exercise, a lot of people started off with marking off a few things and they don't really think about those things in depth. And I want you to take the time to think about those things in depth and how they have been affected by caring or loving someone who is either addicted or struggles with mental health. I'll give you a little bit of impact on me, a little bit of personal life story. Just a few things in my heart that have been affected. So music is really big in my life, absolutely love it. But there are songs that are very triggering. I am a daughter of an addict, a sister of an addict, an aunt of addicts, cousin of an addict, best friends of addicts, you name it, a coach of families that have struggled with addiction and mental health. And so I personally, music triggers. Some of those songs just really make me think about those past memories of dealing with those situations. Some songs give me the power to get past those memories.
I'm in the middle of, I'm
Becky.
actually helping with the conference, but I just turned it off and I
Yeah.
want to talk to you because it's.
There you go.
Becky, we can hear you.
So just to get back on that. So, and then think about it, exercise. I absolutely love any form of exercise, even if it's just getting out for a quick walk, standing in my living room, as funny as it sounds, doing jumping jacks while watching cartoons with my loved ones. Exercise has been affected. I've had to take the time away from being able to do those things to care for or deal with crisis situations with my family and my loved ones. Family has been affected. Holidays have been affected. We no longer get together. There aren't very many holiday gatherings or, family gatherings in general. My sons are affected. They have a very, very deep relationship with many members in the family, and then very surface relationships and good boundaries with others. And that is a personal thing that I've done as a parent to help protect my children, not shelter, but protect. So family, of course, my sons, sports. I grew up playing sports my entire life. And with that being said, I related softball and baseball and all of those fun things to my father, who is actually still in his active addiction. And so anytime I think of those, or I play those sports, or my kids now play those sports, it brings up and triggers those memories of, that relationship with my father and his need for drugs in my life. And so that has been affected. And so if you think really closely, I personally, I eat my feelings. Anything good around when I'm feeling a certain way, I'm going to eat it, or total opposite of that. And so food's affected. Helping others. I have been able to open up and share my story a lot more, helping others, but even then it's affected. And so there's some things that I share with others that I might not share with one group, just because that's my life and my situations, and the way I help others is sharing my story. And so just knowing that it has been affected, my knowledge, being able to go to school and being able to survive while in school, and those things, those have all been affected. So when I say that I'm marking through the things that make my heart move, that make me, that gives me a drive to get up every single day every single thing in my heart is marked out. And that is because addiction and mental health has affected pretty much every aspect of joy in my life, or every aspect of the things that keep me going. And so I know a lot of you all can relate, whether on camera or just listening. There are a lot of things that we put aside as loved ones that we could be selfish and do on our own. That we could say, I'm not going to deal with this situation because I'm going to go exercise, or I'm going to go, spend time with my sons and not involve my parents or their aunts and cousins, just because of the situation. And so the reality of it is we don't normally do that. We do what is best at that given moment, that is going to make everyone happy. Typically, the caregivers, that's what we do. And so I want to talk a little bit about the things in your heart that you've marked out and how they've affected. Does anyone want to share at all? You don't have to come on camera, but I really want to make this as personal as possible. Sharon, please.
Sure. Hey,
Oh,
how's it
I think it's
going?
muted. Nope.
Are we unmuted now?
Nope, you're good.
Good. Okay, there's Caleb. He's a ham.
Love it.
He's home today. He would be at his transition program, but had a little bit of a slight fever last night, so I kept him home. Yeah, we're all right. So no, is it better without my glasses? Can you see me better?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay. Well, I was able to actually be on a podcast. I don't know if you know my friend Erin Parks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we're originally from Oklahoma. We've been up here in Woodland Park, Colorado. It's our 17th year, or now, well, coming into our 18th year. But anyway, no, I was just recently on my sister-in-law's podcast. She lives out in California, and they asked me to be a guest. Her and her best friend do a dual podcast thing, and so they asked me to talk about being a personal trainer and a mother to a Down syndrome son. So we have two children, not a kid anymore. And we have Megan. She she's a junior in college at UCCS.
Nice.
She just got accepted to go to the Disney College out in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big thing. She has to be there first part of January, and she'll be gone. So that part of my heart is going to be leaving. You would think she's going to be out of the country, but anyway, I know. He's going to miss her like crazy too. So anyway, but yeah, when you talk about things of the heart there, I could definitely relate to all the fitness, that's been a chunk of my life is personal training. Started as a peon instructor, and now I don't do, I did personal training, one-on-one training also here at my house. My house sits at 9,700 feet. So
Wow.
we're kind of the back of Pikes Peak.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know. And so as soon as we get another really good snow, we like to go on snowshoe hikes, things like that. That will probably divvy down a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I hope not. I hope that not just because of Caleb. Caleb likes to go outside too, but it's coaxing him and getting him to do it. And that's another part of routines and things like that. And some days I don't have it, man. Just isn't happening. Okay, sitting by the fire is a little bit more inviting.
Yeah. So those are all things that bring you joy and that make you happy. And those are all being affected by caring for a loved one who is struggling, correct?
Yeah. No, it is a struggle. No doubt about it. I mean, it's not peaches and cream. Nope.
No. So is there anything in your heart that hasn't been affected that really drives you and keeps you motivated, that you haven't thought
That-
about?
That does keep me motivated.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, just the power of prayer, my relationship with Jesus keeps me going. Let's see, I wrote down, well, of course, I love to listen to all types of music. I really like smooth jazz. Of course, my husband plays the saxophone, so.
Very nice.
And then behind my couch, I have a full-size drum set that my son plays.
Hey, I
But
love
no,
it.
we're a very musical family, and so that that drives me. I love this Abide. It's called Abide app, AB, Abide, and it's a daily meditations. And actually, there's one on there for kids, and I usually click it on and let Caleb pick the story at night. And I said, what one do you want to hear? You want to hear Cowboy Sam, or do you want to hear, what's his name, Farious Skadoodle or something? I don't know. Anyway, but no, I enjoy those things. I enjoy meditation in the morning, sitting down and doing the Abide app. That is real nice. And it's also they also do breathing exercises in that as well, which is helpful. And I was listening to the Calm app, which I still have it, but anyway, not to get off on all that. And then talking to, I always say you can probably count on about 2 fingers who your best friends are, or who are your 2
Having
go-to
your
friends.
support. Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
I have a lot of other friends, and some things I can't share, and I don't share with everybody, but
So do you feel like caring for your loved one has affected relationships in your life?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, I've gone through a spell where we were, no names, we were friends with, and we're still friends. I'm not gonna say that. It's just that, and that's what I said on the podcast too, was there's seasons, and there's a season for this and there's a season for that. And a season for maybe that relationship. And now it's time to pull back the reins and just kind of take a breather from it. And because some people can just really drain you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I drain them. I don't know. That, I just knew that it was time to kind of move on. And that hurt my heart, to make that decision, but I knew it was the right decision. And because I guess, thank goodness for that you can block calls on your phone.
Thank goodness for technology. Well, I'm glad and I'm grateful, Sharon, that you shared some of the things in your heart.
Yeah.
And some of the things that have been affected by caring for someone. And I'm grateful for your vulnerability because it takes a lot to share those things. And so I want to kind of go through this. We just have about 15 minutes or so more, but we have a lot more to get through. And so you have your heart, you have the things in your heart that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, the things that make you who you are. And so you've marked out things that have been affected by caring for a loved one who is experiencing addiction or mental health and being a caretaker in general. And so that heart is no longer pure. That heart is no longer clear and beautiful and new. And you've had so many things in your life that have affected the way that heart feels every single day. Every single day you choose to get up in the morning, you choose to put your feet on the ground, you choose to stay in bed. All of those things are affected by the way you allow your heart to be treated. And so we talk a little bit today about our heart and the things that we allow and the choices that we make and how it affects our heart and how we feel. Heart being a symbolism of our inner being, our soul, the way we love others, the way we love ourselves. And so I want you to take your heart, your beautiful piece of paper, and I want you to crumble it into a ball as tight as you can. make it a ball. Make it as tight, so you can just throw it if you wanted to, but don't throw it because you're gonna need it. All right. I know you're probably all already done with this, but I want you to try to open that piece of paper up all the way up as much as you can. I want you to try to get this piece of paper as straight as you possibly can. So lay it on, rub the wrinkles out as much as you can, get it as straight as you think you can make it. Is everyone's paper kind of done? Good, awesome. All right, so what I want this to symbolize is this is your heart. It's still there, it still pumps, it's still together. It works like the day it started. It's just been hurt, okay? It has all these wrinkles and all these creases that will never be the same. This will never go back to that straight, beautiful heart that you were born with. All of these things have made you who you are today, the now, the present. And so I want you to think about the things in your heart that you can incorporate a little bit more of, that you can start to allow more time for, the things that you can fill it up with. I took a portion of this interactive activity, and I didn't do it today, but a portion of the interactivity is drawing through your heart as full as you can of the things that have hurt it and how you're currently feeling. And so if you have time, think about that, but that is also an image of where you are in the present moment. And I want to talk a little bit about how important self-care is. And I'm not talking about going getting your hair and nails done. We all love that. I'm talking about incorporating the things in your heart that you wrote a little bit more every single day. If it's reading a book, if it's waking up and saying a prayer, if it's spending a little bit time with your family, exercising, all of those little things that you can incorporate back into your daily activity. So if you want to see, if you rub on, say, exercise, if you rub on that for just probably about 30, 40 seconds, the wrinkles start to go away. So I'm incorporating exercise back in my life every single day. I'm putting that first instead of dealing with a crisis, instead of dealing with a family member, instead of answering that phone call that you know is going to be a 2.5 hour phone conversation of things that you have to do, that's going to take time away from the things that make you heal, that bring you joy. And so what I want to do today is talk about the things that you can do that you think will bring you a little bit more joy, that's going to heal your heart a little bit more. It's going to say no when someone calls you and says, hey, can I have $20? I need to do such and such with it. Having the ability to say, no, I need that $20 because I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to buy me a coffee and I'm going to sit and I'm going to read a book in front of the fireplace, because that is putting yourself first. And at the end of the day, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And so putting yourself first and knowing that you have to fill your heart every single day. You have to do that. No one else can do that for you. And taking the time to do those little simple tasks, those little simple things that you don't incorporate as much in your daily activities, just the small things, heals your heart every single day. It puts back in what people have taken out. And so if you take that, say, softball for me, I'm giving it just a general broad explanation. I stopped playing ball because a drunk driver rear-ended me. He took me out of what I thought was going to be my college life. And so my way of fulfilling that cup, that void that man took from me and my life, is to jump in there. I started playing ball. I started playing ball probably about 22, and I travel. I coach my son's baseball team. I have incorporated that back into my life as much as I possibly can to fill that void that was taken. And so that's my way of healing from what trauma I went through, what I allowed to be taken from me mentally, not necessarily physically, but mentally. And so I've incorporated that back into my life. And so that's my way of healing my heart, rubbing on softball on my piece of paper that I just drew my heart on and rubbing on it for just about 30, 40 seconds. If even that, rubs it completely clean. So I know that I'm feeling that void, that joy that was taken from me as much as I can. And so if anyone would like to share something that they're going to try to incorporate back into their lives, into their heart, to kind of help heal them, to make sure that they're putting their self first, make sure that they're filling their cup, would anyone want to share? Becky, I'm going to call on you.
I kind of knew you would, but that's okay. One of the things I've been working on really, really hard is like not to let anybody steal my joy and to appreciate the things that come my way. And, you know, my heart, and I'm sorry, I was on the phone.
That's okay.
And my heart, everything that the little bit I had time to get in my heart, it's all crossed out. And they're all things that I want to do. So, and sometimes, you know, when you work full time and things like that, you have to kind of gradually move towards those things.
Mm-hmm.
But the more that I do, the happier I am. And for me, friendships are it's a lot of work for me. I know I'm not the only one.
No.
You know, sometimes for people, friendships just require a lot of energy and a lot of time. And so, you know, you do it the best you can do it, which is one at a time, and you know, make a phone call or just take time to spend with somebody. So I'm working on some of those things. So, and I'm real proud of where I've gotten so far.
Okay.
And to be honest and tell people how I'm feeling and tell people that I can't do that. I just told Kim before you guys came on, I can't do that.
Yeah, we actually talked about it briefly before we started this today. Is when people ask us, how are you doing today? Our natural reaction, or most people's natural reaction, is okay or good or wonderful or something along those lines. But then I've learned here lately, and I did it just talking with Becky earlier, is correcting myself. I'm good. However, you know, I'm going through a remodel right now and there's a lot of chaos, and, you know, and just being real with myself and being real with my friends and the ones I care about, and not just doing a vague, I'm good, you know, because that doesn't open up a conversation. If I say I'm good, but I got up this morning and I wasn't able to exercise because I have construction all over my house. And so I didn't get my mind right. I didn't start my healing process on a good foot this morning because I was dealing with construction. And just being open and honest with the ones that you care and love, you know. Becky and I have had a relationship for a very long time in the field. And so I feel like I can tell her those things. And so she helped me this morning by correcting myself when I just answer vaguely good. Thank you, Becky, for sharing. I appreciate that. I know Becky's put in a lot of work. She did this exercise in depth when we had more time a little bit ago, and I hope she continues to do it because, like I said, I do this and I exercise it, or I try to exercise it on a daily basis. Sometimes if my phone's ringing and I haven't had my coffee in the morning, I say, okay, I'm going to call that person back. I'm going to go get my Starbucks or my coffee. I'm going to have my coffee, and then I'm going to have that conversation. And so just knowing that I'm putting myself first, I'm putting my mental health first so I can be there for others is huge. And so I saw some other people kind of pop on the screen. Does anyone else want to share anything about the exercise with the heart or the healing or self-care that you personally do? Something that can help others in this room, because at the end of the day, I feel like kind of a support group, educational, but also a support group for all of us that are actually experiencing the same thing.
Well, I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just that, you know, used to really aggravate me when you would call somebody or they call you, whatever. And and then they're talking to someone else while you're trying to have a conversation. And not that I'm not guilty, I've been guilty of that. So I'm really mindful of that, and like, especially if I'm the one that's calling them, and give them, just that attention. It's like, well, this is a good time. That's probably one of the things I think a lot of people, a lot of girlfriends say to each other or to a relative, this is a good time, especially if you're out of state like me, and so, finding out if this is a good time to talk or text and say this is a good time. And then that way you can make that phone call. And, usually somebody's driving or going somewhere. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'll share, Kyearra.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had my camera off earlier because I'm eating lunch in my office while
You're okay.
Forgive me. But I really like this exercise, so thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
And what I realized is, so my birthday was in September. My sister gave me a gift card for a massage that's still in my wallet because I have not made time to just go and do. I mean, that's paid for. I just have to set the appointment and find an hour. My kiddo's been struggling a lot in school and having all kinds of things, and so it's just been, everything's been focused there. But you're absolutely right, though. Like, I'll probably be way better equipped to help her once I have that massage.
Absolutely. Before you get off this call today, I want you to schedule that massage. It is very important. I'm guilty of that myself. I have a gift card to Massage Envy that I've had for 5 years. My husband got it for me 5 years ago. I don't even know if I can still use it at this point. Guilty. Hands up, guilty. Take the time, take that 1 hour, schedule it off of work if you have to. Like, it is very important to fill your cup, because then you can provide so much more for your loved ones, for your children, for your career, for everything you do in life. You can start it out with a fresh outlook every single day. And so your sister might have been giving you a little bit of like, hey, this is nicely saying, take some time for yourself. Because the ones that are around us, they see those things and they're scared to say anything, especially when they know how full your cup is and how many things you have to do, and all of the tasks and your to-dos. They care, they love you, they do those things. My husband bought the gift card and I should have used it, and now I'm feeling guilty. But we've got to do those things, because that is important. That is our healing. That is our time away from all of the crazies that we deal with every single day. And I'm so grateful that you jumped on and you shared that, and that you enjoyed your lunch without having to show everyone what you were eating. Me, I would have just ate it in front of everyone and said, sorry.
And
But
Kyearra, I want to share Crystal's message. I miss getting to speak as myself, and I will be finding groups where I get a chance to speak and be heard. With both addiction and mental health issues, it seems like I've given up on getting a turn, and I will be making the effort to give that back to myself.
yes, that is very, very important. I can't tell you how many times just sharing my story or my life or the things that I know has helped countless amount of people. And so just that little, and it fills my heart to know that I'm not in this alone. I'm not the only mom that's dealing with, school and sports and COVID and having to be a wife and being present in the moment and doing the career thing. We're not in this alone, but we also can't do it alone. As much as we want to say power to the women, we can do this, we got this. At the end of the day, we can't do this alone. And if exercising or this massage, your sister buying you the massage, or going skiing, Sharon, or whatever the case might be, those things are important to be able to do. Speaking to others, sharing your story. There are so many people out there doing the exact same thing, going through the exact same thing, and they just want to know that they're not the only ones. They're not the only ones struggling, suffering, needing help. I can tell you I'm part of moms groups all over Facebook, and every single post that they post, I can relate to. Like, even the ones I'm like, okay, don't come into my house for the last 3 weeks because I haven't done laundry. Or if I did do laundry, it's still just on my couch. Like those things that we are somewhat crazy stigma ashamed of, we're all doing it. I mean, unless you have a maid and you have all these resources and money and time and all of these things, you're doing it. And we're all in this together and we're all doing it. And so if you sharing your story at a parents helping parents support group is what fills you, do it, schedule it. Becky, Tulsa needs tons of speakers. There's all kinds of groups all over that need speakers all the time, people that share their story, people that can bring awareness and support to the ones that are doing exactly what we're doing every single day. That is important. Do it, fill your cup, find those things. Is anyone else wanting to share?
I wanted to jump in on something else if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I, Caleb, he just fell asleep right here.
Yeah, tired of hearing me talk.
I get it. It's very, yeah, our voices are so soothing, right? Anyway, no, pertains, just the balance of life. And, I feel stuck at times at the house because when Caleb goes to his transition program, I'm on call 24/7. I'm on call when he's at his transition program.
Mhm.
Not to say that they don't have a handle on the whole deal. And there's not a lot of kids. There's only like a couple of kids, and I should say he's a young man now. He's going to be 20 next month. So it's like, wow, really? So anyway, but it bothers me in the beginning when he first started this transition program, and this is a new person that started with us and helping us with him. And I was just like, so-and-so, do you know how many times you called me already in the last hour? And, and I think Caleb is probably her first challenge.
Thanks.
And so does that make me feel great? No. Is it, do I want to race up there and try to help her? It's not my job, but I'm here for her. I've gone up there many times. I haven't shadowed what his day really looks like because it fluctuates all the time. So yeah, it's hard to, back to the other part of it, what we're all talking about, it's hard to get anything in, and fit whatever you can in.
So Sharon, you shared about being mindful of when you're on phone calls with other people, of not, doing other things while being on that phone call. So that's something that you've learned to incorporate into
Like, well, I can't hear you.
Yeah, exactly, into your daily life, and you've learned to figure that out, and that's what's important to you about, being mindful, being present in the moment. What I'm hearing you say is that you also have learned to allow others to take on the responsibility when he's at his transitional place, rather than you jumping in and trying to save the day or trying to continue to be that caretaker. You're allowing yourself to let someone else take that from you. And so that is huge. That's healing in itself. That's taking one step at a time. Now I want you to challenge yourself and add something else in that moment. So when you get those phone calls, answer the phone call, handle the situation as best you can, but then go fill your cup.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Go, have that cup of coffee, or go sit down and listen to that podcast for just a few minutes. Do what you need to do, and then fill your cup.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Sharon, for sharing all of that. I appreciate it.
I have one more comment in the Nicole in the chat. She said, I don't like when people I'm not close to ask how I'm doing. I'd rather the person just greet me. Are there other people who feel that way?
I have those days. I'm a super extrovert. I will talk, like they said, to a brick wall sometimes. And so, but there's just those days that I'm just like, it takes so much energy to say, how I'm really feeling. I get it. I get it 100%. We all have those moments, or we're so frustrated. We're doing 9,000 things for someone to stop and say, how are you? It's like, well, how do I look? Like, I look like a hot mess. No, you are not in that alone. It's a every other day sort of thing. But I will tell you that if nowadays it fills my heart with joy to know that someone's taking their time, whether they genuinely mean to ask me and they genuinely want my actual response, or they're just doing it to greet me. Sometimes that is our way that we've grown up with. It's just been, nailed in the coffin sort of to say, is that's how we greet each other at the end of the day. Like, hey, how are you? Like, just naturally. Or when you call someone, what are you doing? I'm not really going to tell you what I'm doing half the time, but it's just natural. What we've grown to do is when you call someone, what are you doing? You don't have to tell me.
Going to the bathroom.
I mean, we've all been in that position. So hands down, 100%, we all understand that. And, the best thing is to do what's comfortable with you, but always share joy, spread joy. So if it doesn't take too much energy or too much time to just turn around and say, I'm great, or I've had better days, that's okay too. But just sharing joy, even if it's turning around, just smiling. Smiles go a long way. Smile is a virtual hug. That is I always tell people, I'm going to give you a virtual hug. Even if you don't like hugs, I'm going to smile at you. And that is my virtual hug to you to share and spread joy. And so if that's all you do, then be great. They should be grateful. Before we,
when you were talking about, I don't know, it was you, Becky, or one of you, well, maybe both. When you, gift cards and massages and, whether it's your nails or your hair or whatever you're doing. Or let's say like myself, if I gave someone a gift card or an e-card or it text over to them onto their phone, and they didn't spend it, I mean, that really ticks me off.
don't take offense by that.
That ticks me off, man. You better go spend that, and so especially because you got the holidays coming, Christmas is here, day one. And so if you're going to spend whatever, $20 on I'll just throw something out there like, Starbucks would be good, but let's say you spent $25 gift card towards Olive Garden or something like that. And my oldest, I have two older sisters. The oldest one, they're both back on Oklahoma. And so I said, did you spend your Outback Steakhouse thing yet? And she's like, no, it's still in my purse. I'm like, oh man, Lyra, go.
Go or send it back. I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, I know we only have just a few more minutes. And so I know I'm probably going to have to hand this off to somebody, but even if it's just on your mic, or even if you want to drop it in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with, I want us all to somehow either say it here, write it in the chat, but give me one thing that you're going to incorporate starting today that's going to fill your cup, that's going to give you joy, that's going to heal your heart just a little bit, just for today, one thing. And so I'm going to start, and I'm going to tell you that my one thing is every single day I'm going to find time to pray with my kids before they go to bed and sit there and hug them before they go to bed. I don't care if I have to put my phone 3 rooms down. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be present in the moment. It takes no or very little energy of mine, and it is very important to my healing process. And so those are what I'm going to take and I'm going to implement every single day from here on out. And so Sharon, I'm going to start with you. Tell me one thing that you're going to incorporate starting today.
Well, I don't know. I do a lot of things. But okay, all right, relaxing by the fire and give myself some me time.
Absolutely.
Because on my husband's eyes, it might look like I do that, but no, he worked out of the house, and so And then Caleb's home today, so today, will I get that? And now Caleb's asleep right now. So now I
Do
can
it.
have
It's
a
my
little
me
bit-
time.
a little bit- Yeah, so, okay.
Do it. Awesome. Becky?
I think I'm gonna start drawing, and I think I'm going to set aside time to listen to music. TV goes on, can go on and go on and go on, and there's nothing there, but music is so different. So yeah,
All
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna check in on you.
no,
Hey, Kim?
No.
Well, as soon as we're done with this call, I'm gonna make my appointment for my massage.
Do it, girl. Very important. Awesome. Brianna? I know you're on. Oh, muted. Do you want to share?
I love doing activities with my son, so I'm going to start planning activities at least one a week, whether it be go to the park or go to the Christmas lights, but try to get out and have some fun.
Yay, absolutely.
And let me say that Christy says she's gonna start going on dates with her 4 sons. And then Kim says, I'm going to start walking as often as possible with my twins who have Down syndrome. If they do not go, I'm not going to stress if they do not go.
Good.
And Destiny says, I'm going to be silly with my babies. And Kim Miller says, I'm going to pick up painting this week and hopefully open a journey of expression. Kim, if that means painting houses, I'll be your first
Absolutely
customer.
not those. No,
Okay.
no, not those.
Okay, well, I tried.
Oh, man. Awesome. Are there any others in the chat, Becky? Awesome. Well, I hope that if you take anything from today and from this little bit of time that I got with you, is that this interactive activity, it's done more in depth. Sometimes I like to allow myself at least 2 hours. And then I also like to do it face to face so we can really feel each other and get down to more interpersonally. And so I would love to come and do this for you all anytime, more intentional. But take the time for yourself, fill your cup, heal your heart, say no to the things that might take time away from the things that you need to be doing for yourself. Huge, huge, huge. You are important. I know you probably heard this from your mom or someone in your entire life as you came into this world alone. Unless you're with a twin, you're probably going to leave this world alone. And the most important thing is you. And you can only take care of you. And so that is very, very, very important. And if you take anything from that, is that I care about you and I care about you finding time for you. And so if I can help you in any way, if you need someone to go have a cup of coffee with, sign me up. I'm there. There are people out there that are going through the same things that are willing to help in many different ways. If you need an hour for someone to just hold you accountable to go and have your massage, let me know. I'm there. We all need accountability in our lives. And so thank you so much for having me today. I'm going to pass it back off to Kimberly and to Becky. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, I'm just going to add a couple of more. Cindy said, I'm going to do my devotional every morning and drink my tea in peace. And Crystal said, I'm going to listen to some books I brought and enjoy the time. And so I said, thank you for this. I really needed it. I have a question. Do you guys know how to make your little hands go up on your thing? If not, do it some other way. How many of you are in a group like this? Or how many of you are in a group like this? There's 1. Okay, 2. Okay, 3. Okay, 4. Take your hands down and tell me how many of you would like to be a part of a group like this? Okay, sounds like I'm going to have to twist Kyearra's arms. but we may try to do something. So that's really, really neat.
Self-care groups are huge.
Yes, they are. I really enjoyed this myself. Again, Kyearra, you are just wonderful. And thank everyone so much for coming. We appreciate it very much. Am I forgetting anything? I think Kim had to go off.
I think she posted the fax number for anyone needing CEUs.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that those get done.
Yeah. Okay. And feel free to contact me as well at ed@parentshelpingparents.info if you have any questions. And we'll come back and take a look at this. This may be a good thing to start, is some meetings for us. So all right, I guess we're done, and you can do the next thing. Have we got a break in between sessions now? I think we do. Yeah.
Enjoy the holidays. Make time for yourself, guys.
Bye-bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.